Alright, good morning folks, day 2. A little bit of a late start, went out for a bike ride this morning, kind of get my thoughts together. So, real quick, we're back in the garage. I had the truck parked outside. You'll notice it's the other way around because I was going to do the engine, start prepping the engine today, but I got to looking at it, and I think I'm going to pull the body off today, and then that way it'll make it easier to do the engine and transmission, get that out tomorrow, and then get the transmission shipped, you know, maybe Tuesday or something like that. So anyway, so let me just walk around real quick. So the engine, or sorry, the chassis is going to go out the front, and I'm going to lift the cab in place, not using the engine or the lift. And what I'm going to end up doing, so Factory 5 sends the chassis to you with casters on it, and I believe they bolt right here, but since I don't have the kit yet, I need a way to roll the chassis out from underneath the bed in a way that I don't need to lift the bed up, 17 feet into the air. So I've got 4 Harbor Freight car dollies, and I'm going to use those to basically lower. I'm going to jack the truck up and then support the bed, or I'm sorry, the cab, and then I'm going to unbolt the cab and everything, and then lower the chassis down onto the rollers. I'll have the wheels off. Yeah, and I think that should work. The only other thing that's keeping the chassis from coming forward is this lower core support for the radiator, and obviously you can't go that way with the body going, or the chassis going this way to the front. So Factory 5 doesn't use this piece, so I'll cut that off while it's sitting here. That'll be the first thing I do, so I won't have to worry about this body mount. So I only have to worry about 2 of them. The only other thing that we have to worry about at that point then is verifying during the move that this piece clears the upper control arm and the shock tower. But that should be about it, and the body should, or the chassis should be free from the cab. The only other thing, I'm kind of not doing it exactly by the book, or if I had a book. They suggest taking the rear axle off so that you'll clear the jack stands. I'm going to attempt not to do that. I'm going to get some double stack 2x4s to support on the jack stands to support the cab, and play that game. I'm going to go slow. I think it takes about an hour and a half normally to take the cab off using a lift. I'm guessing it's going to take me around 3.5 hours to do it this way, but still proving that you can, do it in the confines of your garage in a normal, normal neighborhood environment. Anyway, stay tuned throughout the day. I'll be doing updates. See you soon. Okay, yeah, it took a little bit longer than I had expected. The video said the professional guy who normally does the drop on the chassis with a lift takes him about an hour and 10 minutes. I was going to give myself 2. I'm at like 3.5. Biggest problem is that I talking to Factory 5, and the way the directions were going to read, it didn't make sense to me to do it the way they suggested. And in retrospect, if I had just jumped in and did it the way they recommended, I probably would have been done a lot quicker. The big thing is that I was trying to get the truck so that it was the chassis so that it was still movable after I pulled it out. Since I don't have the casters that come with the kit, I've got a set of those car dollies that you buy from Harbor Freight, so I'm using those. Those seem to work okay. They get the truck down far enough, or the chassis down far enough, and the jack stands, and I'll show you here in a second, that you should be able to move it all around, I believe. We'll see here in a second. So let me turn it around and show you what I did, and I guess I'm not really sure that this is the most efficient way to do it, but it's the way I chose to do it. Yeah, so let me turn it around real quick. Alright, so my plan had been to leave the rear end in when I dropped the chassis on, from the body, so I could just roll it out. The problem is that the track is wider than the jack stands on the outside of the truck. So note to self, just commit early and pull the rear end. It really didn't take that long once I committed to it. I did leave the leaf spring in because in order to take the leaf spring out, you got to drop the fuel tank, and really I don't care about that right now. I didn't want to get all into that and so you're tracking, every Ford's this way, but that bolt can't go out. Normally you just cut it and then you put the bolt in from the other side and put a nut on there. I'm not sure why Ford keeps doing that, but so in the interim, I did pull the rear shackle off, so I could lift the shackle some, so that I get some ground clearance. It looks like I'll be okay. You can see all the way through the truck, and I think I've got everything disconnected. The jack stands are at their max height. Like I said, I've got sitting on the spare tire right now in the back. The jack stands are all set. Here are the bones. Again, the book, or most people will remove the radiator and everything, and this is the lower support that you have to cut, and as soon as you cut that, I'm going to try and just leave everything connected. I think it should just come straight out the front. I've got everything disconnected, and there's a YouTube link for this. Just you can look up F-150 cab removal, and I've got the so basically using 3 of the casters, and that's sitting just fine on there. Yeah, so there seems like there's going to be enough room. Hopefully I disconnected everything. The key is just to go slow, and with these casters and the weight of this chassis, that's exactly how it's going to go. And then the only thing you want to make sure is you don't contact and kick the cab off of the jack stands. And now in retrospect, as I'm looking at this, I think I've just created myself a problem, because I'm going to have to move the cab because I didn't plan ahead, and you'll notice everything's outside, so I can't close the garage door. So that's okay. That was not a great idea. All right. Yep. We'll just work around that. You're seeing it real here. Anyway, let me move this back around. All right. So I'm going to pause the video now and attempt to take and push that chassis all the way out the other end of the truck. guess we'll see in about 30 minutes or so. Wish me luck. Okay, about 30-minute update. Still not out, but it's moving very, very slow. Let me show you what happened. I had to call for reinforcements. You know, I thought, you know, just cutting this flush was going to work, but if you do that, then grab this piece. This piece actually hits right here, and you can't get the engine any further out. So, sorry. Yeah, it hits right here, so you can't get the engine any further out. So I called for some reinforcements, and it turns out the directions will say to cut, you know, basically even with this hole, and that's used to mount the radiator up to the chassis. So I left about a 1/4 inch, just, you know, just give it a little bit more meat. I can always take off. Well, I could add metal with a welder, but you know, basically 1/4 inch below the hole, maybe 3/8, and it clears. I've got the typical jack stands, Craftsman Black series jack stands. They're not super tall. I believe I'm at 15 inches lift on there, so it's coming out now though. The casters on the concrete don't tend to want to roll very well, so I've got to use a pry bar behind and get it moving that way. But it's basically a third of the way out. Everything is disconnected that needs to be disconnected, I believe. I didn't disconnect the AC lines. I thought I was going to be okay. Ended up needing to disconnect those, and then I did kind of bend, I think it was this line right here a little bit, kinked it, but I've straightened it back out, so hopefully that's none the worse for wear. But I think I've got everything cleared. Hopefully I remember where everything goes back together again. Didn't really take too many pictures, but go slow when you go back together again. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, it's getting there. It's definitely a ways out. Transmission's out. I got to get that thing out tomorrow. That's the ticket. So, and then I've got to figure out exactly what I'm going to do with the body. I think I got an idea. We'll see. We'll see if my idea comes to fruition. But I think I've got a pretty slick idea to make that mobile, and then I'll put this back on its wheels so it's mobile. And then tomorrow we'll pull the rest of it. Anyway, 30 minutes in, probably another 30, 35, maybe 40 minutes getting it the rest of the way out, and then we'll be good. See you in a bit. Alright, well, you know, it's not a race, I guess. It's different for me. But, I don't know. Can you see the chassis back there? It's actually all the way out. So, yeah, inch at a time. Let me, I'll post some pictures up. But basically, I've got 2 Harbor Freight car dollies in the front, one underneath each wheel. And then I put one on the spare tire. I'll go back. And I don't know if you can see it in there. But yep, there it is. So, yep, pretty much that's the big old long chassis. So it should make pulling the motor tomorrow very easy, I'm hoping. And then I need to clean all this stuff up. I'll post again what it looks like. I think I got a plan for the cab now. I'm gonna get that down so I can actually close the garage door. So anyway, get back in here in the shade. It's really hot on top of everything else. So, and making the wife nervous with jack stands all the way up and creeping the chassis out from underneath it. I'm a freaking mess. Brake fluid all over the floor. Typical tear down stuff, but sure would be a lot easier with a lift, but it is possible. I've just proved it. You just have to go really slow. I didn't really have any I gotchas as far as left anything disconnected. The only I gotcha was just not cutting enough of the what do you call it, the lower radiator support bracket off, and then waiting too long to pull the rear end and trying to make it fit. So there we are. Time to get the chassis, or the body down on 2x4s, and then we'll see. Hopefully this all works out. Pretty happy with the progress. It took a lot longer to get to this point, but I'm gonna call it about 3/4 of the way done for today. I gotta get everything put back together again and mobile so we can work on it tomorrow. So I'll probably get back one more time, take a bunch of pictures, and call it a day. Talk to you soon. Okay, so day 2 of XT1 Super Truck teardown is complete, and we're back mobile. Garage is full again. Let me show you what we did. So the truck is back in the garage, ready for engine removal tomorrow, so I can get the transmission out over to the transmission shop to get updated and upgraded. So looking real good. And then here's the body, and so it's sitting outside. Hopefully you can see all that. So he's positioned, doesn't look too horrible outside. Hope nobody says anything. So yeah, all in all, it's been a long day. Definitely a lot longer than the hour and a half that the lift was going to take, but it is possible. I did have to recruit one person at the end of the day to help me move the chassis back into the garage. I just didn't have enough energy to push it. My garage or driveway gets just a little bit of an uphill, but yeah, no damage to speak of. Actually, no damage. So I just have to take the motor out, like I said, tranny out, and get that all situated. All in all, we'll call it a win. And yeah, hopefully the kit's on schedule. I believe I think they're pack on Monday, leave on Tuesday. It'll be here next weekend, and we'll start right away by getting the body and the chassis together, and then swap it out with with this chassis, and then get that in the garage, and then start building, moving parts around. Next step, we're going to take the parts off of this engine that I need to get the other engine rebuilt or built. Yep. So stay tuned. This week will be very small progress, if any, while we're waiting. May clean some stuff up, but I'll update tomorrow, show the engine and transmission out. Yeah, I may even move the chassis into the backyard as well, so my wife can at least have a few days garage time for her car. Put that in the bank. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I think I'm at like 300 something subscribers. It'd be cool if we could get to like 500 or something for this build. So if you want to subscribe, I guess you know how to do that. anyway, we'll see you tomorrow, and hang on because it's going to be quick. Talk to you later.